Try to remember your third birthday. Go on, try. You probably can't, not really. Maybe you have a flash of a cake or a photo you've seen so many times it feels like a memory. But the real thing, the felt experience of being there, it's gone. And here's the strange part. You were fully conscious, you could see, hear, feel pain, feel joy. Your brain was working, so why did it keep nothing? The answer is far stranger than simple forgetting. For the first few years of your life, your brain wasn't broken. It was busy building itself. And in the middle of that construction, it made a decision that shaped every memory you'd ever have again. Scientists call this childhood memory gap infantile amnesia. Sigmund Freud noticed it over a century ago. He assumed it was repression, that children buried disturbing memories out of shame. He was wrong about the reason. But he was right that something deliberate was happening. Because this isn't just fading. Fading would mean the memories are there, faint, buried, waiting. What actually happens is closer to demolition. Think about your brain at 2 years old. It's growing faster than it ever will again. New neurons are being produced by the hundreds of thousands every single day in a region called the hippocampus. That's the brain's memory filing office. It's where experiences get tagged, sorted, and stored for later. Here's the twist. Those new neurons don't slot in neatly beside the old ones. They shove their way in. They rewire the existing circuits to make room for themselves. And the old circuits, the ones holding your earliest memories, get overwritten in the process. A researcher named Paul Franklin at the University of Toronto ran an experiment that showed this directly. He and his team raised infant mice and let them form memories, then tested how long those memories lasted. Young mice, with hippocampi still rapidly producing new neurons, forgot fast. But when Franklin's team slowed down neuron production using drugs or genetic tweaks, the memories stuck around far longer. Then they tried it in reverse. They sped up neuron growth in older mice, and older mice who normally remember well suddenly started forgetting like infants. The message was clear. It isn't that baby brains are too weak to hold memories. It's that they are too busy building themselves to keep them. Your forgetting wasn't a flaw. It was the price of construction. But growth alone doesn't explain everything. Because even once your brain slows its frantic neuron production, around age 3 or 4 you still don't remember much. So something else has to be happening too. Something about the kind of memories toddlers make in the first place. A psychologist named Patricia Bauer at Emory University has spent decades studying how young children encode memories. Her research shows that toddlers absolutely form memories. Ask a 2-year-old what happened yesterday, and they can often tell you. But ask them again 6 months later, and it's gone. Their memories exist, briefly, like messages written in sand. The tide of new development simply erases them before they can be filed away long-term. Why? Because storing a memory for the rest of your life takes more than just experiencing something. It takes language to label it. It takes a stable sense of self to say, this happened to me. It takes an understanding of time, of before and after, of yesterday being different from today. A 2-year-old doesn't have a fully built sense of me yet, and without a narrator, there's no story to save. This is where a Canadian researcher named Carole Peterson at Memorial University of Newfoundland made a discovery that surprised even her. She studied children's earliest memories over time and found something counterintuitive. The age of your very first memory isn't fixed. It can shift, depending on how much your family talks about the past with you. Peterson found that children whose parents used what's called elaborative reminiscing, meaning they didn't just say, remember that day, but asked open questions like, what did we see? How did you feel? What happened next? Those children held on to earlier memories than children whose parents didn't talk that way. In other words, memory isn't just a private recording, it's a shared construction. Every time someone asks you to retell a memory, you're not replaying a tape, you're rebuilding the moment from fragments and strengthening the wiring a little more each time. Memories that get retold survive. Memories that don't, dissolve. So here's what's really happening in those missing years of your life. Your brain is growing so fast it's tearing up its own foundations. Your sense of self hasn't solidified enough to file experiences under me. And nobody is yet asking you to retell the story because you can barely speak. 3 separate systems, all still under construction, all failing to preserve the past at exactly the same time. And yet, something does survive. Not memories exactly, something quieter. Psychologists call this implicit memory, as opposed to the explicit, tell a story kind. Implicit memory doesn't need words. It shows up as comfort near certain sounds, as fear of a stove you touched once and don't remember touching, as the specific way you feel safe in your mother's arms without any image attached to why. You don't remember learning to fear a hot pan, but some part of you still flinches. This is why trauma researchers pay close attention to a child's earliest years, even when no explicit memory exists. The story might be gone. The wiring it built is not. Now here's the part that should make you sit with this a little longer. If your earliest self left no memories behind, in what sense is that even you? You've probably heard the phrase, "you are your memories." It's a common idea. Lose your memories, lose yourself. But you are living proof that this isn't quite right. You existed. You loved, you feared. You learned to walk and talk and recognize faces, all before you could keep a single memory of any of it. That version of you built the brain you're using right now to listen to these words, and you'll never get to meet them. Some researchers believe this gap explains something deeper about how humans experience identity. Unlike most animals, humans build a continuous personal narrative, a story we tell ourselves about who we are and where we came from. That story has to start somewhere, and it starts not at birth, but at the exact moment your hippocampus finally slows down enough to stop erasing its own work. For most people, that's somewhere between ages 3 and 4. Everything before that point isn't lost pages in your book. It's the blank space before page 1 even existed, which raises an odd, almost comforting thought. The years you feel guiltiest about not remembering, the years everyone assures you were formative, the years your parents captured in hundreds of photos you don't recognize, were never meant to be remembered at all. Not by you. They were meant to be lived quickly, then dismantled, so a sturdier structure could rise in their place. And maybe that's not a loss. Maybe that's just what it costs to become someone who can remember anything at all. So the next time someone shows you a photo from when you were 2, and you feel that strange hollow gap where a memory should be, you can let that unease go. Nothing was stolen from you. Nothing was hidden. Your brain simply did what it had to do to become capable of holding on to everything that came after. You didn't lose your first years. You spent them on purpose, building the mind that would finally be able to keep the rest.